Brent? Okay. Good evening and welcome back to the Committee of the Whole meeting for Wednesday, May 8th. We were in camera for a fairly long period of time, but some good discussion was had and we have some direction moving forward on some issues that pertain to certain FOIP sections. So I will turn now to Councillor Wiley.
Sure, just for the sake of keeping the agenda going, I'd like to make a motion to recommend to bring Garden and Garage Suites bylaw to the next regular council meeting, May 15th. I retract that. To bring Garden and Garage Suites bylaw to a future regular council meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Wiley.
May I speak on that?
Yes, you may.
Administration had originally proposed tonight that we have a discussion about it, and I feel that they have done such a fantastic job with the information they've been providing us over the last year and a half, the information that we've been receiving through our agenda packages. I feel that this is a very good thing for our community, and I really look forward to us getting to sink our teeth into the bylaw. As I've seen that information coming forward, I think it's going to strike a really good balance between ensuring that the town keeps its quality of life, but at the same time addressing some of these affordable housing needs that we have. So I'm really pleased with what I've seen so far about this, and I'm confident that the bylaw is our next step and that no discussion is needed for tonight.
Thank you, Councillor Wiley. So we have a motion on the floor. Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Okay, so we move now to item 5.3, 2025 capital and operating budget timelines. Riley, you've been as patient as you could be, and welcome.
Thank you, everyone. No problem. I like being a part of those conversations as well. But good evening, Your Worship and member of council. My name is Riley Brawley, manager of financial planning, budgeting, and reporting for the town. I am pretty new here as well, so you've seen my face on screen a little bit before, but in person is my first time here. So my presentation today is just for informational purposes for you all. It's just on the 2025 budget cycle and schedule. I did just kind of want to highlight as kind of part of our budget process through this year, our staff who are involved in the budget are going to be doing training with our colleague Andre Aloa at the beginning of the budget cycle, just to really make sure that our town's capital prioritization overall budget processes are going to really align with his kind of asset management plan that he's been presenting to you. Other than that, I was just going to go through the schedule really, really high level and kind of let you guys know like when you're going to be involved in things like that. So in terms of our overall timeline, it's the same time frame or timeline as last year, just about. A few things to note. So you'll be involved in a council workshop with a kind of initial mandate discussion on June 12th. From there, in August 16th, any council requests to be submitted into the budget for consideration will be due. Community group funding request will be due for October 23rd. And then we'll be sending you guys departmental budget summaries by November 1st for your review kind of thing. Kind of mid-November is when we kind of get to the brass tacks of it all. You'll be involved in the public engagement piece that we call Coffee with Council. That'll be on the 12th of November. And then mid-November is when like those largest discussions with council and administration occur, the deliberation, any information requests you have, things like that as well. And then I did just want to note too, we changed one item from last year where council question and answer with departments was its own item. It's just going to be part of our very first budget deliberations we do on the 19th of November. And that kind of culminates in, on December 4th, the potential first reading of budget at council. And that was all I had, as promised, very quick. So
have a question.
Of course.
We don't work in August.
In August at all, yes. So
You have August 16th for something.
Yeah, that was the same date as last year.
Okay.
Yeah, we,
yep, sure. So on the 16th, council requests submitted to administration for consideration in the budget is on August 16th. That's due.
Okay, so that's that's the due date.
That's exactly.
Deputy Mayor, did you light up?
no, I'm good, thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Peterson?
Ronnie, is there any consideration being given between yourself, Mr. Loa, and Asset Management around using AI or any AI tools in terms of how you're moving forward on this? I'm seeing some proprietorial stuff coming forward that is stunningly remarkable in that field. I see small amounts of money being dedicated to that in our budget, and I just think there is capacity for us, and it's not a question you need to answer today, but.
No, it's very interesting. I would like to speak with Andre on that, kind of see what he's seen. I know my previous employer that I just came from is really looking into that quite substantially as well too. But yeah, I would like to see what Andre was thinking on that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Peterson. Any other comments or questions for Riley? Seeing none. Thank you very much, Riley. All right, sorry, everyone. Jonathan?
Sorry, Worship, just further to that, we're trying to figure out if it was maybe some technical difficulties were being
Okay.
had. We're just waiting on our sponsor.
Okay, we move to item 6, question and answer period. Councillor Peterson?
Thank you, Worship. I passed out to council and sent out to Councillor Montgomery a 5-page package that is relevant to council, and it is an email that all of us received from a constituent regarding support for the lodge, and on page 2 is a letter sent by Councillor Montgomery to the constituent, and on page 3 is a notification where the constituent called me, and clearly in the April 29th, 3:46 p.m. Notation indicates that she is concerned. My concern in all of this relates to the third last paragraph in this letter, where Councillor Montgomery asked the resident if they would put forward an extra $5,000 to $10,000 per year in support of the lodge and hospice, and went on to say, can we count on you to contribute extra to this project on an ongoing and yearly basis, and if so, how much? This caused some consternation to the constituent, and was very, very concerned. My concern was that the constituent, and then since then, members of Wheatland Housing have heard from others relevant to this, of people being very, very concerned that they're going to be asked for this money, and because it came on town, from a councillor on councillor letterhead, or I guess what, for lack of a better reason, through council email, and the term "we" was used, they were thinking that this was a council initiative, and that's why I've brought it here. So I did ask, if you go on page 3 into number 4, I did respond to the constituent and said that I would ask for a third party to answer to this, and I did seek out some assistance from the consultants relevant to Councillor Montgomery's notation, and in page 6, on the last page, I just outlined, I just wanted to confirm with the consultant that the numbers were correct. The new requisition for the lodge has not changed. The debt servicing remains at $700,000. The 2023 requisition has not changed. The total requisition is there, and the increase in the requisition is at 163%. Now, these numbers represent what would happen in a worst-case scenario, you know, in terms of the lodge taking time to reach full capacity. So in light of this, I wrote the constituent a letter. I have not got this letter approved by Wheatland Housing, but they are aware that it is going to come to them. And the letter does say that we thank you for seeking clarification regarding the communication you received on April 26, 2024. Wheatland Housing Management Body engaged industry professionals who carefully worked with the board to develop a community affordable model and steps to bring the project to fruition. Your support through the member municipalities of Wheatland Housing is much larger capital assembly, requiring a significant commitment with the Alberta government and CMHC at the federal level. As with all projects, there are inherent risks in undertaking this. In other similar builds, it's taken 1 to 3 years to reach full occupancy. Wheatland Housing understands this risk and has presented strategies to mitigate any possible initial deficit. I'll just stop there and just say that the 3 pro formas that were given by the consultants to the member municipalities and the members participating on Wheatland Housing explained this in detail at each one of those pro formas. The options presented including implementing the requisition to build reserves prior to opening, and the knowledge that through cash flow forecasting there's the ability to recover the initial deficits, and that's an important consideration. We do have the capacity to recover initial deficits. Unfortunately, the unsubstantiated response by Councillor Montgomery amplifying risks does not represent the project economics. This project is a major endeavor, but that does not make it unaffordable, and the best way I can offer insight relevant to realistic future impact to residents is to use the tax assessment for the property where I currently reside. I do live in an area where assessed values are well below the average for Strathmore. The additional $700,000 requisition distributed to our tax base equals approximately $15.78 per $100,000 of my assessed property value. In comparison, for example, my school taxes, which I also support, are $243 per $100,000. I've appended information outlining the current reality. I'm always proud of the philanthropy within our community, but it is not an expectation, and thank you for the support that you've shown towards the project to this date. So on my tax assessment, you'll see that in a worst-case scenario, having to pay the full $700,000 debt servicing, my personal tax rate would go up from $2.01 a month to $4.24 per month, or $21.44 a year to $50.96 per year. And so the indications of the 8 times to 10 times from what we spend now in paragraph 3 of Councillor Montgomery's letter to the ask for $5,000 to $10,000 from people to contribute is problematic. And I wanted council to be aware that that there are people out there who think that that this has come from council, or with the knowledge of council. So now you have the knowledge. And Richard and I have not brought this to Wheatland Housing at this point. If I were to ask for action on this matter, I wanted to bring it to a committee of the whole because no decision can be made at this point. So there's no opportunity for this council to make any recommendations one way or the other. But from my personal perspective, it does give Councillor Montgomery an opportunity to rethink this and to maybe retract it, perhaps even apologize, and then that can happen before Councillor Wagner and I have to take it to Wheatland Housing. And that's all I have to say on the matter, Your Worship. I don't know if I can answer any questions, but if I had to, I would.
Thank you. I guess it comes down to how council feels about the letter that was sent. If council feels that it's problematic and should be looked into, then that would come up at a at a public meeting. There are some things, obviously, in our Code of Conduct bylaw, 5.1 states a member must not claim to speak on behalf of council unless authorized to do so. So that second last statement or question, can we count on you to contribute extra to this project? The "we," based on it coming from a councillor, could definitely indicate that it's on behalf of council. So there are some problems with it. Councillor Wagoner?
Yeah, I find this whole letter that was sent out problematic because it came as a shock to me. I, like everybody else here, got the letter from this resident of town. The reply to her was not sent to council at all. It was sent, from what I understand, sent to this resident individually and others. I was at the Hype for Hospice on the weekend, and I got ambushed by a couple of people talking about this, and I think there's been a lot of lines that have been crossed with this here, and again, we're going to have to. We're getting responses. We're getting questions from our Wheatland Housing Management Body as to what the heck kind of council are we running here. So I think something has to be done about this because it's not right. He's not speaking on behalf of anybody other than himself. I don't know where some of these numbers came from, 8 to 10 times, 5 to 10,000 a year. Those are just numbers that were pulled out of a hat. So that's my thought. I wish he would. I wish Jason was still online to comment or respond to this, but he's gone. So honestly, I think something needs to be done.
So, Councillor Peterson, I know you didn't want to speak anymore to it, but are you, if we don't hear anything, are you hoping that it'll come up in our next public meeting?
Your worship, I think I'm not prepared to bring it forward. The only thing that I anticipate will happen is that the amount of anxiety that Councillor Wagner and I have witnessed from Wheatland Housing regarding this missive and the understandings or lack of understandings around it, it will come up at our Wheatland Housing Management Body meeting. And I can't anticipate what they will do, but I suspect that if Councillor Montgomery doesn't take some action prior to that they may come to this council. But I'm not prepared to bring it back at this point, Your Worship. And if other councillors have no issues with it, my hope is that Councillor Montgomery will just act on it and that he can do what needs to be done and that we'll never have to address it again.
Thank you. Any other comments from councillors? Councillor Mitzner?
My concern is we as a council decided to support this project to the very end, and I think this is just another unprofessional, I don't know what word to use, but I don't think Jason had the authority to do what he did, and something should be done. Thank you.
There is a publication I've read where it ties into the MGA and to our code of conduct, and the Alberta government published an article titled "What Every Councillor Needs to Know," and following along your lines of thought, Councillor Mitzner, it says once a resolution has been passed, it becomes the official direction of the municipality. Councillors need to respect and support the decisions of council in principle, despite their personal views during the debate. So I guess it comes down to whether council feels that the statements he made concerning how expensive it will be, the financial impact, 5 to 10 times more than what it is, if that demonstrates supporting decisions of council or not. But I'll leave it with council to think about, and we'll see if we hear anything. So we need to move back into closed meeting, so I'm looking for a motion to go in camera. Oh, we also need a motion to carry on past 10, don't we?
So I would move, Your Worship, to extend the meeting till 10:30.
Thank you. We have a motion to extend the meeting till the exciting time of 10:30. All in favor? Councilor Montgomery?
Councilor Wiley votes against.
Councilor Wiley's opposed, so it's, the motion is carried, and we're going in camera
Your
at
Worship, I'd move we go in
10:03.
camera at 10:03.
Thank you. We have a motion to go in camera at 10:03. All in favor?